Hello, I am at the River's Edge Warming Center today, which is part of the Gateway Complex on Washington Street in Bridgeton. And this is a very important conversation that we're about to have because it really outlines some critical areas where community groups have come together to meet the needs of our most vulnerable. So today I am joined by the Honorable Mayor Al Kelly, who also serves as the president of the Gateway Corporation, and Ray Garcia. Ray is the president of M25 as well as being the vice president at Elmer Bank. And we certainly thank both of you for all of your commitment. Mayor, if you don't mind, I'll jump right in and ask you, how did this all come to be now 10 years ago?
December of 2013, an individual in our city died trying to stay warm by going into a clothing bin. Somehow he suffocated.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just so happened I was doing research about shelters and warming centers, and Pastor Robert Weinstein was doing it also. The death of Mr. Henshaw brought us together when we first started a warming center.
We know that COVID has really exacerbated the homeless issue, and we know that there's a need for affordable housing in New Jersey anyway, but specifically in Bridgeton and on this side of the county, talk about what the challenges are.
Well, we have a wonderful shelter in our county, but it's on the far eastern side of the county, and many of our homeless and individuals will not travel that far. And so our challenge now is to develop a shelter on the western side of the county so that we can provide the services necessary to move them from homelessness to some place that's much more safe.
So this Code Blue Center came out of the tragedy with the death of Mr. Henshaw. And then Ray, maybe you can talk about where M25 fits in it.
So that spurred the Code Blue Coalition. It's a Band-Aid to the real problem. The real problem is we need to get the homeless into their own home. So we developed another program, the Cumberland County Housing First Coalition. And that is essentially a coalition of multiple organizations to locate these individuals, to put these individuals in homes. That's the ultimate goal. The warming centers are great and they serve a purpose, okay? They serve that 12-hour window purpose, but ultimately they let go back onto the street. And the true reality is that's not achieving our goal. And that's why M25 came to be. So
the coalition is really a representation of stakeholders that have different pieces of the puzzle to be able to solve. Not everybody can solve all of them. So talk a little bit about those programs in reference to once you identify somebody that could be eligible for housing, how do they go about thinking about trying to be part of that?
Our program director will actually take the applicant in, review all the necessary things, social aspects that they would need. Through that application process, we identify potential housing locations, depending on what location they would like, Bridgeton, Millville, Vineland. We provide the financing, the first month's security deposit, that is, the first month's rent to get them into the home. In addition to that, we also contact our local businesses for a move-in. Essentially, we'll provide the furniture for them. We just recently did a move-in this past Saturday in Millville, and we moved in husband and wife and a child. We had full-size beds, twin beds, couches, TVs, everything. And they are now home blessed because of the program.
You think about homelessness as a single individual, but here you're talking about really providing that stability for an entire family.
Absolutely.
And then talk about how you all work together after that to make sure that the child gets enrolled in school and the parents have job training and the other things that they need. I mean, I know Gateway is the glue in so many ways to provide those critical services to our community.
Our mission is to provide services that improve the quality of life and promote self-sufficiency. And we try to incorporate that in all the programs and make sure that when we reflect on what we're doing, that we're meeting the mission of our agency.
You really are the mayor's mayor, right? Because you know them by name, and you're here in the center. And I know you've called me on occasion when we have something that goes wrong from the hospital perspective. So talk about what that means to have that personal relationship with the people that we care for.
I basically know all the homeless that we have in our community because I'm here every night. And I try to be present every night so I can work with the staff and provide the services necessary. I want people to realize that if the mayor can do it,
anybody can do it.
They can do it too. In the beginning, when we first started Code Blue, we would rotate the center from church for 3-4 different churches.
Wow.
A church would host it for that entire week. Then after that week is done, we move it to another church. But we decided, because of the pandemic, to have a central location. That way we can sanitize so that we can make sure that we have no COVID outbreak. And I'm happy to say we've never had an outbreak since over the last 2.5 years. Now we've had complete care come in due to vaccines. I want them to feel when they come in through these doors that they're safe.
Yeah.
And we do go through every precaution to make sure that they're safe.
Ray, talk about the vision of M25, how it came to be. That's just such an amazing story. Obviously, the mayor talked about Reverend Weinstein's work early on, but I know obviously it's grown so much since then.
Dr. Reverend Weinstein holds many titles. He's our leader. He's the backbone of the organization. He's one of the founders, along with Mayor Albert Kelly. He recognized the need. He got a bunch of us people who have giving hearts to amass a board of trustees to develop the M25 Initiative. Our original mission was to develop the warming centers. Subsequently, we determined that that wasn't enough, so we created the Housing First Collaborative. And then that wasn't enough. We said, hey, you know what? We need to provide a shower program too. You know, these homeless people, they should deserve the right to be clean and a warm plate of food and things like that. So without the efforts of all the volunteers associated with the programs, that's what really makes this thing tick. And then we also, during the pandemic, decided that food insecurity, a major issue. You know, we need to do something about this as well. So we provided a food program utilizing various nonprofits in the county, and they were handing out food as well. There's a definite need in the community for these programs that we help support, and we hope to continue to support them.
And I know for Inspira, we're glad to participate in that and be donors to that very worthy purpose, because we know that for us, if people don't have a safe discharge, then we often find ourselves with, people in the emergency rooms who don't need to stay in the emergency rooms, but they need someplace to go, and there's no place to go. And so,
Exactly.
that's how we're all integrally linked in this. And people will say to me, well, why are you in this housing stuff? It's because we have to be. It's all part of the work that we have to do.
Exactly, Amy. And honestly, Inspira's been a part of this journey since inception. Without Inspira's support, not only as a partner, but financial support, we wouldn't have been able to do all that we've done, honestly.
So M25 has been part of not only the initiatives here to provide services, but really the advocacy at the statewide level and the county level to get dedicated funds. Talk about that program and how that's provided the necessary support to really move forward in some cases.
Absolutely, Amy. So there was a bigger vision, and M25 kind of spearheaded the movement in regards to procuring state funding for our homeless neighbors. What it ultimately ended up happening is that the state now provides funding for Code Blue warming shelters for each municipality. In addition to that, we were able to obtain funding through the county records program in regards to anytime someone files a deed, $3 of that goes to a trust, which is for homelessness. So those two pieces were actually spearheaded by M25.
Now, I know, Ray, that all of us survive based upon the fundraising efforts that happen in our community, but I know you have something coming up soon that everybody loves and is a big hit. So talk a little bit about your M25 fundraising effort.
We have a fundraiser coming up this April, Thursday, April 20th. It's our annual sock hop event. This year's theme is Sock It To Me. Essentially, we're going to have a 70s themed groovy garb night. Yeah.
And some of us don't have to actually dig far for that 70s clothes, I'm afraid. I've got a couple of us have those in our repertoire already. So I'm sure the public will appreciate knowing that, and I know everybody always loves to come out for a good time. Yeah. Mayor, I know that none of this happens without the gift of volunteer leaders such as yourself, but I know that you've commented to me. I had the opportunity to meet one of those superstars when I came today, so tell me a little bit about her.
Miss Nina Young has been walking with me in this endeavor from day one. And Nina is here many more hours than I am. Wow. So that making sure that our staff is well informed, taken care of, making sure that our clients are warm, they feel welcome here. And so she goes above and beyond what's needed.
Talk a little bit about the treasures that you get from the people who come here.
Yeah, because they're homeless doesn't mean they do not have talents. Mm-hmm. And we're finding that many of our individuals here have different gifts given to them by God. And so one gentleman, he would stay and just create cards, Valentine's cards he started. And I found out his history. He was once asked to work for one of the large card companies in America.
Wow.
So I asked him to do a mural so that people can see his artwork. When he comes here at nighttime, that's what he's working on.
Well, and then that also allows you, again, because of the personal relationships you build, to have insight into skills that they have to be able to then translate that to help them get into employment and then get back on their feet again,
yes.
Which I know that the workforce development work is just really critical to Gateway's work.
It's my hope that people will see that, then somebody would see it and say, hey, oh, I can use him, and employ him. And so hopefully that's what it's all about.
We all know that we sit in the two of the poorest counties in the state, in Salem and Cumberland County, and two counties with the greatest number of health challenges. None of us are going to solve this problem alone. So it really requires all of us to lean in and be part with each other to try and thinking about how to just make it better and continue to move forward. You said it before, the mayor has been a founder of so many critical organizations to be able to help the people of Cumberland County, and we're certainly grateful to your leadership, Mayor, and just really want to take the moment to just say thank you from all of us. I know the people of Bridgeton thank you by re-electing you every single time that you run, but I want you to know that that certainly goes much deeper than that, and we are tremendously grateful for your leadership and for your heart. We thank all of you for the opportunity to learn today about these very important topics. We will continue to bring these issues forward, but really appreciate your taking the time. If anything resonated with you today, to please volunteer. There are plenty of places, and we certainly have the need. Until we meet again, be well and stay safe.